That's really good. Yeah, and I do definitely agree with you. I think, people inspire other people like crazy, I think. And I think, one person can see anything, it could spark an idea in them, and then they can go and create something that will help even more. So I think, we're all part of the same team, I think, when we all seem to want the same goals. So I think, yeah, just trying to get other people to see our point of view, I think that's the main thing.
Hello beautiful beings, it's Rebecca, the Vegan Pixie Warrior, and welcome to my channel. If you've not been here before, my channel is all about uplifting other animal rights activists and inspiring people to take the liberation pledge and become more active. So if that sounds like your sort of thing, hit that subscribe button, like and share this video. Today I'm going to share with you an interview that I did with an activist called Daniel. He is a YouTuber like myself, but with a twist. He does some amazing films about animal rights. Did a fantastic one, and it was an animation. He wrote the script. Well, do you know what? I found him on UK Vegan Family, and hopefully you're going to find him on here to be really inspiring. So I'll let him explain. So hi Dan, and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you today?
Thank you very much for having me. I'm doing very well today. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's been a hectic day at work, but I'm glad to be doing my other job, which is talking to beautiful people like you.
Well, that's great. That's great. Yeah, we're just talking about how lovely your background's looking, how nice your channel is right now.
Thank you. Yeah, it's getting there slowly, slowly. I'm still waiting for that viral video to happen, but I'm sure it will come. So at the moment, I'm just pleased with how many people have come forward and said they've got active or connected with activists that I've interviewed and done something for the animals, because that's the whole point. And that's why I brought you on today. So we're going to get to that in a minute, because I saw you on UK Vegan Families channel a few months ago now. I think it might have even been
Yeah.
the end of last year or something.
Yeah. It was
But
like, yeah, I think like early March or something like that.
okay,
It
yeah,
was quite a while ago.
quite a while ago. I've been busy. I apologize, but I'm glad I've got you on here now. So for everybody that hasn't seen your interview on UK Vegan Family and doesn't know about you, can you tell them why you're vegan and how long you've been vegan and what made you go vegan?
So I've been vegan for 2 years now. But previously before that, I was veggie for I think another 2 years on top of that. And I was veggie on and off before that too. I'm vegan for I think a lot of the reasons why most people are vegan, I think. The animals, the environment, and my own health. I think those are the three main things probably I would say. And I think vegan food also tastes good to me. So like it just seems like a no-brainer to me personally. That I didn't find it super hard, especially because I was already vegetarian. Just had to cut out dairy, and that wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. So yeah, I think those are the reasons I'm vegan mainly.
Was there something you saw? Was there footage, or did you speak to somebody who made, what was it that made that switch, that trigger?
Yeah, I think it was a gradual process. I think I knew a couple vegan people, and I think a lot of people go through this being vegan now. I think most people can say they were annoyed by vegans at one point or another in their own lives personally. I think a lot of people can admit they were like that. I think I was like that at some point. And I know I'm a quite open-minded person. I was becoming more open-minded, and I was just listening to what my vegan friends were saying to me, and I was listening, and it made a lot of sense to me. And then I started to try it. It didn't taste that bad to me. And then I think it was a gradual process. And then I know my brother showed me, he's been vegan for a while, and he came over for Christmas, and he showed my whole family Game Changers and What the Health, and we all watched those together. And I think after that, it hit two things for me, because I used to think that vegans, like it was unhealthy veganism, because I think that spread a lot. Um, and yeah, I just thought it was very unhealthy and whatnot. And then also, um, I thought the athletes, like I didn't think there could be vegan athletes. And I think when I found out that after Game Changers, like, a lot of football players are vegan, a lot of like long distance marathon runners are vegan. So like after that, I was like, there doesn't seem to be much negatives other than the fact that it might be a little bit hard to transition. So yeah, overnight after that, I went vegan and didn't really look back, I think.
Yeah, I was the same when we first went vegan. I was worried about nutrition and making sure we were getting everything that we needed. And I think I know more about what I'm eating now than I did before.
Yeah.
I know more about nutrients and where to get my B vitamins and my omegas and than I ever did before I went vegan. It's mental. I really didn't. I don't think I cared too much before. And that's the thing as well. People say, "Oh, it's unhealthy. You're not going to be able to get this, that, and the other." It's like, well, how do you know you're getting it now? Where are you getting the amount of times you speak to people that are still eating animals? Where do you get your B12 from? They don't even know what B12 is. Someone said to me, "Oh no, animals produce it." I'm like, no, they don't. They're supplemented with it. They like have no idea, which
Mhm.
I didn't either. So I can't really argue.
Yeah, I think that is the big thing, and why activism is important is because we both readily admitted today that we were ignorant to a lot of these facts beforehand. So I think it's about, trying to get this information out to people, but in as palatable a way as possible, because I think some people go about it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
But no, I think admitting that we were once meat eaters and ignorant to a lot of these things, I think helps when you have conversation with meat eaters, because understandably people get quite um, heated when they talk to people that eat meat and stuff like that. I understand it, but I think you got to put yourself in their shoes of how you were back in the day. And I think that kind of sometimes helps. And maybe you planted a seed having a conversation with them. I think that's also something to take away with maybe having a conversation with someone, because I might have
Mhm.
sounded stupid to my vegan friend that was explaining to me why I might have sounded stupid in that conversation, but the seed was planted and I was listening to it and digesting it. It might not happen overnight, but it could take a couple months, a couple days, a couple of years. I think it's different for everyone, really.
Yeah. I mean, I think I only knew a few vegans. I had a friend who was vegan when I was in my early 20s, and he was full on vegan. What you'd expect a vegan, what you have in your mind of what a vegan looks like. He had dreadlocks and he was like anti Nestle, anti Domino, like he was proper,
Sounds
social
like a cool
justice
guy.
warrior, social justice warrior, full on vegan. And then now he works for a pharmaceutical company and
Oh, wow.
he consumes animals. So he's gone the
Oh,
other way.
that's
Yeah.
a film right there. That's a
Yeah,
film
he went past some roadkill, so he just picked up the roadkill, took it home, and ate it, and that was it. That was the turning point for him when he went
right there.
back, which is mental. I don't know if he's still like that now, but yeah. So it
That's a
was
crazy transformation. Yeah, we're saying
completely,
the other
yeah.
way, it got the complete opposite way. Yeah.
But he didn't really talk about it to me. I knew he was vegan, but he didn't really talk about the animals more. He talked about how Coca-Cola were bad and Nestle were bad, and but it never, I don't remember him ever talking about the animals, and maybe he did and I just shut it off and didn't want to know. But you're right, we have to remember, and that's something I always forget when I'm talking to meat eaters. I get frustrated when I talk to
And then
clients.
you do the opposite effect too, because you definitely plant maybe, and if it depends on your interaction with them, they can definitely attribute veganism to the conversation they've had with you that could be quite negative. And I think they
Yeah,
could link those two things in their head. So I think if you really, if you put your ego aside and think about what you're doing it for, which is the animals and the environment,
yeah,
put that aside and focus on the mission of trying to get people to think about your point of view more. And I think that takes a balanced and calm discussion rather than yelling.
yeah. And what would you say to your brother and your vegan friends for sharing information with you? Would you tell them thank you, or do you think they were pushy vegans pushing their views on you?
Oh, they were absolutely unpushy. They were very, I was more curious. I think I asked my vegan friend, I was very curious, I think, to him. And I was just wondering, and I was literally saying the now, I think a lot of meat eaters kind of go through these excuses maybe in their mind, but they don't say them out loud very often. And I think those are two different things, because when you say something out loud, you kind of realize you can see through the bullshit a bit more, I think sometimes. So I was like talking to him and being like, I forgot what I said, but some excuses like maybe it being more expensive. I don't think I said that exactly. Something about I think this is a meat eating argument, is like, what would you do with pigs and what would you do with cows if people didn't eat meat and stuff like that. I think
Yeah,
that's kind of the point I raised to him, and then he gave me a great a great I don't know. He answered in a way that made me kind of rethink what I said. So and he did it in a calm way. My brother wasn't pushy at all. I was already vegetarian, so I was already like, on the fence. And I think when I was vegetarian, I think a lot of vegetarians don't understand how bad dairy is. I think it's better than eating meat. And I applaud everyone that tries to go, does whatever they can, honestly. But I don't think people understand sometimes the torture that is involved with dairy. So yeah.
Yeah, dairy's a big one, I think, for a lot of vegans, and some of them that have gone vegetarian to vegan. I went straight from plant-based to vegan overnight, but dairy was the thing that got me. I just saw a dairy calf on a film called Vegucated being taken away from their mother, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't be part of this anymore. This is not
Yeah.
me, and I'm not comfortable with it. So that
No
was
one is.
it.
That's the exact same thing, and that's what every human being would probably say yes to. They're like, do you like what's going on here? Like, spell it out to them what exactly is happening. And then most of them would be like, oh no, I don't really like that. And then you'd be like, oh, here, try oat milk. It tastes just as good, and none of that is happening. And I think that's what people are slowly coming around to. That's what I do think. Just seeing veganism on the rise, and you live in the UK too, yeah. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I think the choices we have here are fantastic, to be honest. I think for the most part, when I lived in America, I've been here for 4 years now. It wasn't as good back then, so I don't know if it's changed much over here. But like in the UK, I think they're doing really well with the options we have.
Well, just like going back, I've only been vegan, it'll be 4 years this August. And the difference in that 4 years, I mean, it was just Linda McCartney sausages, and there were veggie bean burgers and things like that. And it's huge. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the amount of choice. And we're trying to steer away from that. Unfortunately, because of all these beautiful choices, I have put on weight. So I'm trying to go back to Whole Foods now and leave the beautiful processed stuff as a treat, like, once
Yeah,
a
I think
fortnight or
that's a good
something
way
like
to
that.
do it. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think that's when they, are kind of like, there is differences. I try not to eat as much as the processed meat as possible. I still do, because it's an easy supplement. But if in a perfect world, when I get everything sorted in my life, I would like to be just kind of solely plant-based, in terms of just like, a lot more fruit. I do eat a lot of fruit and veg anyway, but like just none of the meat alternatives. I'd like to try and stick away from them, but they are really good. A lot of them are amazing, so it's kind of hard not to sometimes. They do have good vegan snacks too, like Oreos and like chili heat wave Doritos are quite good.
Yeah.
So
There are some great. I haven't had any crisps since this, like, last year, since December.
wow,
I was like, right, that's it.
did not do that.
I eat too many crisps, or potato chips, as you would call them. But
I call them
yeah.
I live in the UK now, and I'm from the UK, so I would definitely say
Oh, okay. You just got a strong American accent.
yeah. I just lived
So
there for a while.
that lives on to the next question: is whereabouts are you based?
So I'm currently based in Swansea in Wales.
Yeah.
But I was originally born in Warwick in the UK in England. And then I moved to upstate New York when I was about 9. So that's where the accent comes from. And I lived there until 4 years ago. And then I live in Wales now. And yeah, I like Wales for the most part. It's pretty, a lot of rain and stuff like that. But
That's the UK.
that's the UK. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just
So
not Wales. But I grew up in, like, my mum's from Swansea, from Forest Park. So
oh yeah.
I grew up in Swansea, and I lived on the Mumbles for a little bit as well, on
Oh,
Mumbles Road. Um, right near Dick Barton's chip shop.
I don't know where that is, but I know
I don't know
where
well,
I
if you
know.
don't do vegan options, then you're not gonna know.
I used to like fish and chips, to be fair, but yeah, I live right in the middle of Swansea, so I know where, and I've lived here for 4 years now. So yeah, I know. I think I feel like almost Welsh, like part Welsh at least. I'm like a mutt with all my different kind of, where I'm from and stuff like that. But I think Wales, has become more important to me. I think, the fact that I'm here during more of my adult years, I think, because I like England, but I just, I was there as a kid.
Yeah.
So I don't feel connected to it.
It's a beautiful part of the world. I mean, you've got Rossili Bay and the
Yeah.
Gower and Free Cliffs. It's an amazing place of the world to be. And I spent my 20s in Plymouth, so I was by the sea, and it felt like an English Swansea to me,
Oh yeah,
because there's a road in Plymouth that goes up towards it's on one side of the town. It goes up towards this one area in Plymouth, and it looks like the uplands. And it always
oh,
reminded me of the uplands in Swansea when I was living there. So,
yeah.
and there are little bits that remind me. There's no beaches in Plymouth, but it
Maybe
did.
someone did a copy paste, like on
Yeah,
the, like Gob's doing a copy paste kind of thing on that day,
yeah. And it had the same sort of atmosphere as Swansea as well, that kind of laid back vibe that Swansea's
It
got.
is
And
pretty laid back. Yeah, it
yeah,
is probably the most yeah, yeah, it is probably the most laid back place I've ever been in my life. Which
Well, especially living in the States. I lived in Miami when I was about 9 years old as well. So I lived in the States for like just a year. But
different.
yeah, it's very different to, but I'm a bit of a mutt as well. I've like grown up in Swansea and Miami and Birmingham, bloody everywhere. So yeah, I
Yeah.
quite like moving around. Hopefully I've settled now though. But
Yeah, I think I'm a similar way. I might be going to Bristol next. I'm not too sure yet, but yeah, I think I like doing that. I like, when I get too comfortable, I think right now I tend to want to challenge myself in a different way, in a new way. So yeah, I've liked Swansea, but I think looking for, new challenges now, I think.
yeah, I just like will put up with dyeing my hair a different color every week, and hopefully that will stop me wanting to move and get itchy feet, because I do get itchy feet. Like
You have
the
tattoos?
house I'm, pardon?
You have any tattoos?
No, just new hair colors.
I was
So
about
I
to say
get,
that's what I
I
do. Yeah, that's a
uh,
similar thing.
yeah, I haven't had a tattoo for years, but I've got one planned, so I just got to save up the money for it because they're expensive. But this is the longest I've ever lived in one house. So my whole life, I think I've been in this house for 7 years now, and I've never lived in anywhere at any house for more than 7 years. So that's good. So
Yeah, you can decorate
um,
it. That's the good thing about, staying in a place. Like you get to decorate it, kind of more thinking permanently.
yeah,
Because my apartment, I like it the way it is, but I have to move out soon. And it's like, I like the way I've set it up and stuff like that. So it's just sad.
I'm loving the artwork on the walls
Oh
anyway.
yeah. Yeah, I do like my colors.
Between becoming vegan and getting active, how long did that take, and what form of activism was it?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I guess I would call myself an activist in some ways. I guess not. I guess I use my voice and my art, I think, I guess more than my actual going to protests and stuff like that. I've never actually been to a protest or anything like that. I guess it still counts, but I kind of the best way I know how is trying to understand these subjects as best as possible. And then I also have a teaching degree, so I see kind of that I would like to teach people through art about these kind of different issues, and hopefully they can see it from different points of view. So I'm currently making another film right now about the dairy industry and kind of how negative that is in another animated film. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be covering this kind of. I got into film liking Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese kind of films, like fun films. But then, the more I looked at the world and the more I kind of got into it, the more I realized that no one really, needs any more Marvel films. That's not really what people need right now. People, need to be sort of woken up to some of these things. And I think they can, I think if people just kind of thought in a little bit different of a way. And I think everyone affects people, like, you get chain reaction of, people, one person telling one person about being vegan, and then it kind of spreads, and the amount of options there are for people. So yeah, I would say, I don't know when I got into it. I'd say about 4 years ago, maybe. And then I think mainly film is the way I like to perform my activism, if that makes any sense.
But it is a form of activism, and that's another reason for me making this channel, is that I think when people think of activism, they think of direct action. They think of DXD and going into a farm and saving a chicken or a pig, or they think of like a cube of truth and talking to the public on the street. There are so many ways to be active.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's about using your strengths and your talents to
Yeah.
get that message across. And that's what you've done with your animation, which is brilliant. That leads me on to the next bit. So, and like I said, there's so many different forms of activism, and you've taken your strength of animation, which is an amazing talent. And there are some people out there that might not have the confidence to go to a farm or go to a street activism event or a Cube of Truth or an Earthlings, or they might be insular and not want to leave the house, but they might have these amazing animation talents and they can make a film like yours. So I'm going to share the screen so we can watch that together. And then we can talk about it and you can tell me what inspired it.
Good evening, everyone. Are you ready to order? Would you like to hear today's specials?
Yes, I think we would.
Very good, sir. We have lovely stacked ribs with sticky marinade and fruity basmati accompaniment, a gourmet burger with fresh organic meat, or my personal favorite, a herb-crusted leg that is to die for, with a side of spicy deep-fried fingers. I assure you that this roast joint is a cut above the rest.
You sold me on the herb-crusted leg. I'll have that, please, and thank you.
And for me, marvelous choices. And for you, sir?
Do you know if the infant is organic?
Yes, sir. We marinate our infant in a zesty mix of lemon, garlic, and rosemary.
Perfect. I'll have the infant with a side of mashed potatoes and Brussels sprouts.
Very good, sir.
And can we get a basket of those spicy deep-fried fingers for the table as a starter?
Of course. One of my personal favorites.
Is the bean burger cooked on a separate cooker than the meat?
No, ma'am, it's not.
Okay, I'll just have the salad then, with olive oil, please.
So, when did you start caring if the meat is cooked separately?
I don't want to talk about it. I mean, you guys just ordered a bunch of meat, and I don't want to put you off your food or anything.
Well, it's too late now. Just tell us.
Look, I just don't like the way they treat the humans, and I can't eat it with a clear conscience knowing what they do to them.
Don't believe everything you read, Cal. Did you see the menu? It says they're free range. Do you know what that means? They're happily running around in fields eating, well, whatever they eat.
This conversation is upsetting. Can we change the topic, please?
See, this is why I didn't want to say anything.
Well, that's fair enough, Cal. I think everyone should be entitled to their own opinions. But I wouldn't give up human for anything. Have you tried the spicy deep-fried fingers at this place? I would just eat those all day if I could.
Anyway, did I tell you guys about what happened at the gym the other day? So, I'm on the treadmill, and there's this hippo a few treadmills to my right, and she's one of those loud, obnoxious runners, grunting, humming along to her music. Her sweat is literally hitting me, and...
There you go. Enjoy. Can I get anyone anything else? No, thank you. This is great.
Waiter, there's a small ring made out of wood or something, and it was around one of these spicy fingers.
I'm awfully sorry, sir. I'll take that one with me back to the kitchen. That basket is free of charge, and I'll even get you a fresh basket from the kitchen. Now that's great service.
All right, can I finish my story now? I haven't even told you the good part yet. So...
So that's pretty dark anime.
Yeah, definitely.
What I really liked it. I really enjoyed watching it. And I liked the characters and the way that you had the humans hanging up, you know, like you would see a pig or a cow hanging up from the hooks. What inspired you? What sort of work did you put into it as well?
Exactly what you're saying there is exactly what the first image that came into my head and kind of led to the rest of the story is just imagining, I was just imagining pigs, how they're hung up usually in meat freezers. And that was my initial kind of picture I got in my head, and kind of just thinking, what if that was a human hung up instead of a pig? Like how kind of, you just see them in restaurants and just how, you see this thing, a dead animal, and it's just, it's so lifeless and so, well, obviously it's lifeless, but yeah, you just see this thing. And I just wanted to see what it would be like if we just switched the roles absolutely completely. And yeah, I directed it, I wrote it, and I produced it. And then I got someone, I had to find an animator. So yeah, so I did it with a very talented animator called Robert Bone. And yeah, no, I'm really happy with the reaction to it so far, which is lovely. And yeah, I mean, I hope I've changed a few people's minds about, or at least have a couple people thinking a little bit differently. But no, I'm super happy with it so far. I want to continue making animated films. They're really fun to work on, to be honest.
It's a very important talent. I spoke to another guy who's doing a musical with puppets.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Puppets were my obsession when I was a kid. Like, I wanted to work for Jim Henson, and I wanted to do a whole Dark Crystal by myself. And but anime is great as well. Like, everything has its place, and people will definitely connect with that. And I'm sure you've had people that have commented on the video and said that they connected to it.
Yeah, I think there's something about animation that kind of eases them in a little bit, kind of makes them feel a bit more relaxed, I think, possibly. And just like getting information, like how dark it is, but how nonchalant it also is. That's just how we are with, all the, if you're in a restaurant and you order veal or venison, there's a line in the film that says, something about infants, like ordering an infant. Oh, is the infant organic? Is the line. And it's just like, that is exactly what I think of when I hear someone ordering veal or venison that is a baby, or lamb, that's a baby animal right there.
Or bacon, like, pigs are 6 months old when they're killed, sometimes a bit younger. So I've got friends that say, oh, I don't eat lamb because they're babies. I'm like, well, do you know that chicken was 6 weeks old when they were killed? 6 weeks old. That's nothing compared to, the age of a lamb. I mean, it's still young. 6 months, but 6
They're cute. That's probably why they're cuter. That's probably.
And they still look like babies, whereas chickens. I mean, there's a Pear Tree Farm, which is near me, an animal sanctuary. They rescued some broiler hens, and they came to them in October last year, I think, and they were 6 weeks old. And when we first saw them, it was in March, so they're not even 6 months old, and they were huge. They were enormous because of the way that we've bred them. And it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is. And I hope, as time goes on, I think hopefully more people will see it that way. I'm hoping. I think we're making decent strides. Sometimes some days I lose, hope, but then other days I'm like, may as well keep on trying. And, as long as I feel like that, you feel like you're doing your part, which I think, if you're vegan, you're an activist, I think you can't really do much more. So I think, give yourself a pat on the back if you do those things, and just know you tried. I think that's kind of like the best. You're against it. You can't really do much more. You can only control what you can control. And yeah, I mean, it is hard to think about, isn't it? Especially because we try and do things about it. It's hard thinking about, what these animals kind of go through. So yeah, no, I hope we can minimize it as much as possible moving forward.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that having you on will inspire someone else to make a film and use their talents that way. Like, there's an artist I know, and she makes the most beautiful paintings, and she sells them, and the money goes towards sanctuaries. So that's another way, and some of her artwork, is the animals are in their element. So it's showing them in the happy times, which is, maybe that one might make someone connect, going, oh, look at that happy pig in the painting, and why am I eating this bacon sandwich, and then looking at this beautiful piece of art. So yeah,
that's really good. Yeah, and I do definitely agree with you. I think, people inspire other people like crazy, I think. And I think, one person can see anything, it could spark an idea in them, and then they can go and create something that will help even more, so I think, we're all part of the same team. I think when we all seem to want the same goals. So I think, yeah, just trying to get other people to see our point of view, I think that's the main thing.
Definitely. And did you have any blocks stopping you from making the film? Or
films are like, every time I make a film, I realize how impossible it is to make films. Like, it's like every film that gets made, I forgot who said this, but they said it's a miracle any film gets made. Just how much, they're very difficult to make in so many different ways, especially up and coming filmmakers. you got to take, creative risks and stuff like that all the time. This film was definitely a creative risk. I was still in university when I made this film, so I definitely took a risk. Yeah, I think it was mainly, I think financially, I think was the biggest thing for this film. It wasn't as expensive as a lot of animations, but still, for just coming out of university, I think that was probably the biggest problem. Because animated films are just they're very complicated to make. So yeah, probably that. I would say I had a lot of people warning me about the backlash I would get for this film, including my family when it was, because they were the first ones to see it, and they were kind of warning me. They're kind of just be like, yeah, you gotta toughen up because you might get quite a big reaction to it. And I honestly haven't really got much hate for it, actually, almost at all. So a couple things here and there, but not really that much overall. So yeah, probably that too. I just don't really care about the negative stuff I get, because most of the stuff I get is overwhelmingly positive. So,
and the thing is as well, is what I try and tell myself is that when someone's being negative towards me, because when you put yourself out there on a platform, whether it's Instagram or YouTube or however you do it, or making a film, you're putting yourself out there, so you're kind of open. You have to expect that backlash, whether it be small, one person, or however large it should be. And I've had a few people comment on my hair and my weight and stuff like that. And you know what? They're doing it because I've got to them. Yeah. And they're trying, that's what it is. It's what they've seen has triggered them. So that's their only way to react. And a lot of the time, people that do this have low self-esteem. So they're taking out their own insecurities out on you. And that's the way you've got to see it. And if it did get to me the other week, because it was constant for 1 week, there was quite a few comments, and I was like, yeah, okay. Like there was someone said on my Instagram, oh my God, vegan and still fat. So it's like, well, you know what? I've just got to let it brush off and carry on. But yeah,
it takes a while. I think I think it definitely, your skin definitely gets thicker. And as you said, I think because I've definitely asked for this, I've gone through all the steps, and I could have backed out at any time. So it's like, I kind of have asked for this life at this point. And I am thoroughly believe in what I believe. I thought about it enough where I think, and I've researched, my beliefs enough where I'm like, yeah, this is my opinion and I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to stick to my beliefs. And if someone has, another opinion or something to make me change my mind, then I'm also open to doing that. But with veganism, definitely, like, there doesn't seem to be many other good options. So yeah, I'm kind of just like, I don't really care what people think anymore. I've definitely lost people following me. Yes, 100,000 million%. With that, but I really just don't care anymore. That's kind of my opinion. And as you said, if you kind of, I'm big on putting myself in people's shoes and stuff like that. And as you said, if they're taking the time to say something like that to a random person they've never met, like, they're probably not the happiest of people. So yeah, so I think that's kind of my reaction usually when I get any hate. I'm just like, yeah, sorry, like, whatever. And I think also if you're nice to them, that pisses them off even more. So just like, just let it wash off you, and then just like, oh, thank you. That's very nice of you to say. Have a nice day. Like, tell them have a nice day. They get even more mad. They want to feel the satisfaction of, hitting you with a knife,
Yeah. And that's where I went wrong with one of the ones on my outreach video. I reacted, and I shouldn't have done. And Grumpy Vegan Granddad, Grumpy Vegan Granddad said to me, you haven't made it unless you've had a troll. So if you have a troll, you're making an impact. And he's right. So
yeah, definitely. I think it's the first one of I think it takes the first one of, you have to learn from your mistakes. I think that's, and you kind of have to replay in your head. It's like, yeah, like, but also you can have a bad day, and then one thing could be like, you could see one thing and be like, oh no, I'm answering this guy. Like, I want to take my frustrations out on that person. But I think it takes that, of having to go through it to the next time it happens, be like, take a deep breath and be like, no, I'm not doing that this time.
Yeah. Well, the first couple of times it happened, I was just like, thank you very much for commenting and watching the video, and just left it at that. Yeah. But this one, I just bit, and I shouldn't have done. Even my friend George, who I organise events with, was like, you shouldn't have, like, you gave him too much. And I was like, okay, I won't.
It's difficult. It is difficult, but like in the moment, you can't reason with yourself. You're just like, no, I gotta do it. I'm too pissed. If you sit on it for a second, then like usually you won't do it. But I've been
Yeah.
in the moment sometimes where I've sent messages. I'm like, bad idea, but whatever. You know, you live and you learn.
Do you do any other forms of activism aside from the animation at all?
I mean, I'm very vocal, I think, with everything I do. With all my social media and stuff like that. I'm hoping, you know, I'm making other films and I'm, you know, working for companies that are cool on some of the new stuff I'm doing. I can't say too much about it, but like
No.
it's yeah, it should be cool. So I'm hoping just to, you know, just keep on. I'm still young and I'm still learning a lot, really, honestly. So I'm like cool, just like, you know, kind of taking it day by day, learning as I go along. And I don't know what, you know, the next few years hold for me. So I'm just going to kind of go with it, I think, and kind of just, you know, keep trying to, you know, I think I do learn things every day. You know, I'm kind of just learning that what I do is enough. I think that's the biggest thing, because you can't, there's so many people on earth. And I, you know, I used to look outside and see litter. I used to see, you know, people eating meat, and it gets a bit, you know, it gets to you a little bit sometimes, I think, when you know you're trying so hard and you have to sacrifice with all this stuff, and then there's people doing things that are, you know, the easy routes, you know, like eating meat and stuff like that, and dairy would be the easy route to take, wouldn't it? So
I
like,
think I disagree. I think
yeah,
once you know and once you've made that decision, eating animals for me would be really difficult. I emotionally, I'm physically, I wouldn't be able to do it. I just couldn't bring myself. So I think it is difficult being a vegan in a non-vegan world and seeing people.
yeah,
And my friend Gawain did a video. Sorry, my friend Gawain did a video about how frustrated he was. It was over Christmas, and he's just fed up of telling everyone what's going on. They're not listening, and they're still paying for this animal abuse. And it's just, it feels like he's hitting a brick wall. It's like, what's the point? But
you got to sit with it and accept it, honestly, because that is the reality of it. Like, honestly,
yeah,
that is the reality of the situation. Is like this stuff does happen, and you personally can't do singularly. You will not be able to do anything about it. Like, I'm big into meditation, and at the start of it, I was trying to tell everyone about meditation and telling everyone they should meditate. No one was listening. It was like talking, as you said, to a brick wall. So that's not the way you're gonna. You just can't. You know, unfortunately, you gotta sit with it. I've talked to a lot of meat eaters, like a lot, like mostly meat eaters are the people I talk to in a daily basis, and like people are picky with their food, and you're not gonna. It's hard to change those people. Literally, I've heard people say, "I'm never gonna go vegan. I'm too picky." So that's something, and you know, I don't know if it's a good enough excuse. You know, I don't think so, but like, what are you supposed to say to these people? You know, you can't really. You just be like, all right, yeah, fair enough. So these are the kind of people we have to try and, you know, get to, and it's very difficult. It's but I think
then yeah, but you know, with talking to friends and family, it's sometimes I feel like it's not worth it. I just don't bother
yeah,
because
no, exactly,
we're too close, and
yeah.
I'm hoping that somebody else will come in
Your
and they'll
actions,
meet.
I think,
Yeah,
need to your actions, I think, are what need to speak for most of people, I think, and just keep on doing that. You know, stay true
yeah,
to it. Keep on. I think actions is the biggest thing, as you said, because yeah, you don't want to ruin. You know, meat. People eat meat aren't bad people. It's a different worldview. It is a different worldview.
What do you love most about this form of activism that you're doing? This amazing animation that you're putting out there.
I think it combines my passions, I think, which are, I think, storytelling and saving animals, I think, probably, because I like animals more than humans, in a lot of regards. I think we have a lot to learn from them. I think they're kind of like their stillness, and kind of their, I think that's the main thing, to be honest. Their chillness, I think, is the big thing we could learn from them. But I think that's probably that. And it's just, you know, I do really enjoy making films, or just, you know, I don't think I'll only make films. I think I'll make other things. I do poetry, and I do kind of like, you know, I'm trying to make music and stuff like that. So I want to get into, I just want to, you know, create things. That's kind of like my favorite thing to do in life, is just create things no matter what the format. So if I could also help people and help animals at the same time, that's just like, and make money from it, like that's just, yeah, there's like a lot of wins there, I think, if you kind of weigh up everything. So
Yeah,
that's pretty much why I do it. Yeah, I do enjoy it.
definitely. I mean, I'd love to be a full-time animal rights activist. That would be my dream, to have like 2 days a week to volunteer at a sanctuary and be out doing activism in different cities. And that's what I'd like to do full time.
Well, yeah, I think I think it's what's great is I think people giving their time and stuff like that. But honestly, if you work and then you also volunteer at these organizations, you're still making a big difference. I think that's what some people don't realize. I think every small thing that people do or big thing or whatever, even if you don't devote your life to it, I think they make a difference anyway. I think everyone makes a difference that tries.
And how did you fit the film into your life? How did you fit around your everyday day job?
So I started writing this during my last year of university where I did study film. And then I finished it earlier this year, like right at the start of this year, but I was doing, I was getting a teaching degree. So I got my degree in film and then I straight ahead after that, I did my teaching degree. So I just finished that now. So I can, I'm working as a teacher in university, teaching film and stuff like that. So I'm doing that alongside working on my films, and then I just quit this other job that I had. So it's been very busy for a while now, but no, I enjoy it, and I like working hard and being busy and kind of focused on something. So it's been a balancing act for a while now, and I eventually just kind of accepted that's what life is. So that kind of makes me, I think just that makes me be able to accept it. I think just constantly doing something, but I think that's the way I like to be.
And you mentioned meditation, which I do meditation every night before I go to sleep. What other ways do you use? Because it's important to have downtime as an animal rights activist. When you put yourself in the animal rights activism group, this is how people get burnout, because they're not taking time out for themselves. Because like you said earlier, you can't change the whole world, you can't save all the animals. Even if you get one person to go vegan every year, that's one more person a year that's gone vegan because of you, and they'll turn another person vegan, and so on and so on. So it's like a ripple effect. So
personally, like how many animals we've all saved. Like it's crazy how many animals we probably saved just by one person going vegan. So just think about that. Don't think about how many people you need left to change and realize the good you are doing. Like I think that's the main thing. So sorry, what was the initial question?
How else do you have downtime and relax? Me time, I guess.
Need it. Yeah, I implore everyone to do that as much as possible. That's all I do when I have time. I just let my body just chill, do whatever I need to do, want to do. I like playing games. I like reading. Just laying on the couch watching Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. That's been a thing recently. I like Gordon Ramsay a lot, to be honest. I learned stuff from these people, honestly. Reading and writing and I just a lot of my downtime just literally requires me to just be as kind of
still as possible,
stationary as possible. Yeah, I need to I think emotionally and kind of mentally I'm more drained than physically with the things I do, because I do the things I have to do. I've kind of realized it, and it takes me a while to get over it, but I have to be absorbed with the world's problems sometimes to do what I do, which kind of is the opposite of ignorance is bliss. So I feel like I have to chuck myself into this, into the world that we live in, and there's a lot of messed up stuff, but I choose to try and learn about it and then let it absorb it, which can take depression or something like that. And then I come out of it being like ready to kind of try and make a creative I guess I use it as a creative outlet to try and, I don't know. And I guess if you could just change one person's mind about one thing like that, that's something. Honestly, that's something to me. I want to make films about not just veganism. I want to make films about a bunch of different things that I think are wrong, or that I see in the world, like the pharmaceutical industry, as you were just saying earlier, especially in America, they profit of people being sick. So, and just
they do here in the UK as well. Totally. I've always been someone that if I've got a tummy ache, I'll have a peppermint tea. If I've got a headache, I'll have Tiger Balm. I'll try and go a different route rather than taking drugs. I just don't like it. So, and paracetamol never works on me anyway. And and what does it mean to you to be an animal rights activist?
I think it hits me in different waves. I think I don't know. I think some of the things that people have said to me have actually I have a big heart, I think sometimes, but sometimes I seem like I don't. But honestly, some of the things people have said to me have touched me big time with Because sometimes I do get discouraged and unmotivated by the things I hear, the things I see, and stuff like that, the way the world is going and how big of a mountain it seems like we have to climb at certain times. But yeah, so the things people say about kind of, and just thinking about how many animals I've probably saved, just, me personally, and then just like the people that we've touched in different ways. I've definitely had influence on a couple people that I know that have gone vegan because of me. And that just, that's just cool, I think. And just thinking about that's a lot of animals, like I don't know the exact numbers, but just one person saves a ton of animals. So that, that wave you create that's important, I think. So
Right.
that makes me feel good. I think that's what motivates me, that feeling, I think.
And what would you say to vegans out there that aren't active, that think that being vegan is enough? What would you say to inspire them to do something?
I think it is enough. I'm not gonna lie. Like I think, I think like people like me that can afford taking the abuse because it's all I do. I think, I'll take the abuse, and people like us, I guess, can take the abuse because we're, being very vocal about it. If you're just being vegan and being quiet, like honestly, you do your business, you let your actions change it. Don't ruin your relationship with people. If you want to do this, go for it. There's pros and cons to it. But yeah, I mean, it would help, honestly, if everyone, was more vocal about it. That would help. But yeah, don't stress yourself out. You're doing enough, I think. That's probably what I would say to them.
Okay. So I feel like you can do even the smallest thing. Like I spoke to a girl from Lithuania, and she went vegan because she saw a stick on a lamppost.
Wow.
So you could just walk down the street and put some stickers up. You don't have to talk to anybody or share your views or anything like that. But if we're not doing anything, to me, if I was to walk past some kids bullying another kid on the street and I just walked past and ignored it, I'm being complicit
Yeah.
to that. And that's how I feel about non-active vegans. I feel like you don't, like I said at the start, you don't have to go to Cuba Truth or break into a farm or go to a Meet the Victims event.
Yeah.
You can do something small like putting a sticker up or wearing a t-shirt or something big like making an animation like you. So I think we need all forms of activism to create this vegan world that we all want, this animal liberation. And yeah, there are some parts of the world where that's not going to happen, but there's a huge part of the world that it can happen in.
Yeah, and I think, if that huge part of the world eventually becomes the norm, I think that's what would change. I think once we get over 50% of people being vegan, I think then it would tip possibly the other way. We just don't know. But yeah, I think I agree with you. But I think also, if you're just being vegan, I understand. Yeah, I understand. I understand wanting to stay quiet on certain things, because sometimes I wish I could shut up. On certain days, I wish I could be like, no, just don't talk today. Like that'd be nice if you just didn't have an opinion on one thing. But my brain's like, no, you got to say this to other people. So yeah, no, I understand it. But yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. But then the ignorance is bliss, and kind of not doing as much. I don't know. I'm kind of still processing how I feel about a lot of things. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as long as you're vegan, I'm cool with you. Honestly, I'm cool if you're not vegan, but good job if you're vegan.
Cool. Well, thanks again for coming on. And I really hope that this inspires a young filmmaker out there or an old filmmaker, because I started my YouTube channel in my 40s, so I'm just teaching myself editing, which I've never done before. So you don't have to particularly be a fresh out of university filmmaker. You can do it at any age, but I'm hoping that you inspire someone today to get
No, I really
active
hope
and
so.
do
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Honestly, yeah, just do what you can, and that's enough, I think. And just do your best. And yeah, if you want to make films, make films. It's a cool thing to do. Very difficult. You have to be obsessed with it. Like that's one thing. It's a gift and a curse, I think, definitely, with a lot of these things. So yeah, know what you're getting into before you get into it. But yeah.
Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, no problem.
I hope you enjoyed that. Daniel's lovely. It's really nice to talk to, and yeah, I really enjoyed the footage as well that he's put out there. It's really thought-provoking and original and new. So if you like that and you have been inspired to make a short animation by yourself or make anything that's to do with animal rights, then please let me know, drop a comment below. All the link to Daniel's videos are in the description and also his Instagram page, so reach out to him if you want any hints or tips or want to find out more about how he got the setup going and what he did. So if you've enjoyed this video, press that subscribe button, like and share. Massive thank you to my Patreons that support me on my Patreon page. If you want to support me in making more content, then please check out the link in the description. For as little as £1 a month, you can help me get more active for the animals and hopefully move away from my day job. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.